What's good, my people, man? I'm glad to be here with y'all. Hope everything good. Hope everybody is in good spirits, man. For the most part. um, I will say that I'm here to definitely talk about mental illness because I definitely overcame it. But I also want to tell like how, in a sense of where I've came from. I know what it is to struggle with different diagnoses, whether that be schizophrenia, whether that be borderline, whether that be schizoaffective, you know what I mean? Bipolar. I already know about all that stuff. I was in psychiatric wards all throughout the state of Massachusetts for about 10 years. Not probably all through 10 years, but in a 10-year span, like a lot. And I never agree with taking medication for a simple fact that I never felt as if it made me feel better because I always felt more physical ailments after I took these medications. So for instance, they're prescribed Depakote for schizoaffective, for as a mood stabilizer, but you wonder why your hand is shaking uncontrollably and you get tremors and different weird sensations in your body that only lasts when you're on the medication, but no longer lasts once you come off the medication. But if you stay on the medication, could in fact have long-term damage to your physical abilities. Case in point, I never forget I was in Bay State. It's a big top hospital in the country. Bay State Hospital in Springfield, Massachusetts. I was in there. I was in App 2. It's the psychiatric ward, the floor of the top. And I never forget, I asked one of the top doctors, one of the dudes that walk in the psychiatric wards with the suits and they leave and come out, they don't stay too long. I asked him, I said, doctor, I said, because my uncle was like, yo, you better get off of that Depakote, man. That stuff ain't good for you. That's going to have you shaking by the time you like 40-something years old. So I was like, or 30-something, whatever he said. I was like 20, I don't know how old I was, maybe like 25 or 26 at the time. I'm 30 now. He was telling me it's going to have you shaking, you know what I mean? And that's when it made me start to realize, oh, that's what that's coming from. And I'll never forget, like, I asked the doctor, and he blatantly, I said, doctor, is there any way you could tell me that this won't have long-term side effects with me taking it? And he basically told me straight up, like, nah, like, in other words, he was like, he couldn't tell me. He was just basically saying how my mental health would matter more. But I'm like, yo, well, how is it that my mental health is going to get better when what's supposed to be helping it will cause damage to my physical health, which will in turn trigger more mental illness because I'm looking at myself in the way I wasn't. So that was one thing too, man. And then just seeing how people walking around like zombies in them hospitals and seeing people sedated, can't even sit up straight in a chair, but they want them to go to support groups. They want them to be attentive. And it's like, how could I be attentive when you giving me like 500 milligrams or something? You know what I mean? Something ridiculous, like not 500 milligrams, but like 20 milligrams and things like that. I never forget being on Klonopin. Like when I first ever got involved with my mental illness and started like seeing real psychiatric doctors, I remember they prescribed me Klonopin. I never forget the feeling of like you're dying, like somebody's like weighing you down, like holding you down, like suffocating you to sleep. It's the worst feeling in the world that you can't stand up straight, because if you do, you'll fall over. I'll never forget that. It was like late 2008, 09. 2000, it was late 2008, early 2009. And I was using that. And it was just highly sedative. Like, it didn't make me feel good at all, you know? Other medications used to just do other things I'm not going to get into just because I want to keep this, like, clean. But it was different. It was different side effects that came from that. And so I see people, they depended upon a pill because a pill is what a doctor sees as the easy fix. It's what they're there for. You know, it's not. But what I'm here to tell you is that it's better when the psychiatric wards will make what's secondary primary, and that's the mindfulness, the words of affirmation, the dance classes, the arts and crafts, depending on where you at, like the recreational activities. If they would focus and hone on these things more, and really, really help people to find themselves, meditation, all of that stuff, it'll start being better. You know what I mean? It's going to be slowly but surely, but people will really start finding healing, because you have to go within who you are you have to go within what you are to find out why you went through everything in the first place. So it's like you got to go through it. You have to go through it. You got to find who you are, basically. So when you're taking pills, it's giving you a comfort zone. Like, all right, I could just heal whatever I got by these pills. So you really believe like it's the pills that's making you feel better, when in reality you'll be better off without them, because there's no side effects to that. You're gonna really feel everything. There's nothing that is trying to stop from coming to your brain that you need to think about, that you need to feel, so you can reflect on it and then move forward and grow. That's what I believe in, man. So I just believe in mindfulness, just listening to high vibrational sound music, taking walks in nature, writing, being active, exercising in any kind of way, reading, various different forms that you can find that can help you out. So yeah, man, I'm appreciative of the people, man, like that helped me definitely. Cause once I started, I used to never like mindfulness or none of that stuff. I ain't like nothing. I used to be hard to deal with in psychiatric wards. But once I went to this program, this support group in Chicopee called River Valley, that was when I started. Even though I still had a bad ending there, but overall, like, that was when I really started buying into the mindfulness and everything like that. It didn't hit me right away, but like later in that year of 2017 is when it really kicked off. And I knew I didn't want no meds or nothing like that. I used to argue with doctors all the time about that stuff, and used to debate them. They'd be like, "How you know all this stuff?" I mean, just be informed. I'm not just gonna go in there blindly just chattering, especially about something I'm passionate about, wanting to see change. But as I said, when I started doing the mindfulness, I was able to go within inside. When I started going within inside, spending more time alone, spending more time being by myself, I started to feel my feelings. I started to cry to tears. I started not to run away from things. I didn't go hang out with people just because something uncomfortable kept coming up inside of me. But none of that was going to happen from no pill. That came from me literally facing everything. Me literally finding the root causes to all these issues. That's literally what it comes from. So the reason why I'm against meds is because it's a trap to me. It's not it's more counterproductive. Like, yeah, on the surface it helps, but it's harming the person's body. So I'm saying these doctors will rather give you a pill because they understand that when you deal with mental illness, you are meant to be you strong. You meant to survive. Like you meant to lead. Like you're meant for something greater to really change stuff and pioneer and just like revolutionize so much. So it's like a program. It's programmed from higher powers to just keep people sick and keep making money off of it and generating monetary gains off of people's mental health, when in reality they could practice better methods to help people than just drugging them and making them worse off, because they don't want these people to connect to their internal soul. They don't want these people to connect inside, because the soul space is not something that can be programmed. So if I really get the knowledge to really focus on myself, literally buy into my spirituality, and I start healing all these wounds, and I really start becoming who I came to this planet to be, there will be no more reason to make money off of this industry anymore, other than you supplying people with the healings and the mindfulness and all the tools and stuff in the facilities. But they'll heal and they'll be gone, opposed to having to keep coming back to you for you to drug and then bill them again. So my advice is, this is just from my heart to all my people struggling with mental illness, currently going through it. Maybe you know somebody that's dealing with it, man. I love all y'all. I know that. I'm not dissing you. I'm not saying if you take medication, I don't want you to feel bad. I've been there before. I'm just shining a light so when you keep evolving, eventually one day you won't even need medication no more. One day you won't even claim having a mental illness anymore, just as myself and many others that survived it. Because you can overcome it. You gotta understand that. You can overcome it, man. This is really also dedicated to someone specific, a woman that's around my age from my city who I don't know well, but we know of each other, and she reached out through one of my Facebook posts when I touched on this subject, and she suggested that I make a blog about this. I sort of dragged my feet to finally get to it, but I couldn't let this week go by without making good on that promise and that commitment. So to you, I hope this really does help you. I really do hope this helps you. And know that I love you for real, for real. You know who you are. When you watch this, you're going to know who you are. I got love for you. You're going to make it. You will shine. For real, for real. And everybody else out there, man, keep pushing, man. Meditate. Eat clean and healthy if you can, as much as possible. Listen to high vibration music, or just listen to music that makes you feel good. Whatever the case may be. Take a walk outside. Leave your phone. Anything that may be, man. Look in the mirror. Tell yourself I love you. It's not the pills that helps you. It's you that helps you. I love y'all, man. I gotta get off of this though, man. I'm definitely just happy that I'm able to share this, okay? So, peace, love, and light. Sai So, I love y'all, okay? Peace. We almost at 2020s too, man. Get ready, man. Age of Aquarius, mass awakening. We grabbing this world back, man. The paradigm shift. The butterfly effect, man. Look all of that up, man. Peace.